everybody, and welcome to Varsity Stadium here in downtown Toronto as we get set for the opening kickoff with the Western Mustangs taking on the Toronto Varsity Blues here on Friday Night Lights at Varsity Stadium. Dana McKiel and Tom Gredis bring you all the action here from Varsity, and we're into the pregame here on CIUT Radio, brought to you by Caldwell Securities Ltd. Our guest in the pregame, Brandon Assuncao, as Brandon is a former football star and played high school, university football, and pretty knowledgeable about the circuit. Brandon, welcome to the show.
That's right. Thank you, Dane. I'm glad to be here. Friday Night Lights, good weather. Let's get ready to rock.
Yeah, we sure can. And we got lots to talk about. First, about your high school days when you were playing high school with King City. Tell us about that.
That's right. A really great environment. I had a great coaching staff out there. Rick Wood, he's with us at Caldwell currently, joined with Jeff Masterson, which his son played at Guelph, and just a great environment. Those boys, when I remember the first day I came in, the older boys, they won that, or they went to that Metro Bowl. So seeing those tall guys and, just trying to grow up and just be kind of like them, right?
You remember that Metro Bowl in 2010 when King City played Bowmanville Holy Trinity.
That's right.
High school. They had that running back that was just piling up the yardage.
Yep.
But King City did a great job in qualifying for that Metro Bowl championship.
Yep, that's right. A lot of different guys. A lot of guys played in the OUA as well. It was just fun to watch. The culture there was very championship mindseted, which I really liked. I didn't come in at first playing linebacker. I was a bigger guy. I started at center, moved out down the line, played a little bit of tight end, switched to defensive end, and then eventually became a star linebacker. So it was fun.
Wow, talk about revolving. Holy mackerel. From center to tight end and then go on to play a linebacker position?
Well, they say the smartest players on center, so I'll take that gladly.
Very true. You usually find the leaders being at the center position. Yep. Isn't that something? And Jeff Masterson, great history there. He has been an emblem for King City football for many years. Yeah,
that program would not be where it was without Jeff Masterson. He was the leader in not only just the football team, but just the whole sports organization at the school. He was the head at the department, so he brought that all together. A lot of recruitment, a lot of going down to different areas trying to get the kids going to our school. So it was a lot of work and a lot of effort, and unfortunately that program no longer exists. So, with Jeff Masterson leaving, but a lot of memories.
Yeah, and that rivalry with Huron Heights. That's from right. Newmarket, that rivalry not just with the football teams, but also with the cheerleading squads, as we found out.
Yeah, that's right. And Baker, I forget his first name, if you could remind me, Baker on Huron.
Yep, I know who you're talking about.
So when I was playing center, my only job was to cut him down, just get down low and just try to get him on the ground because he was such a beast, right? So
they had several guys like that at that time. We remember our committee, the Metro Bowl football committee, remembers Mike Buss, and he was 6'8" as a center. So that's a lot of size to deal with.
That's right.
And the size of the Huron Heights team and King City teams were huge at the time. It wouldn't surprise us if you're running 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds plus per player.
That's right. And a lot of talent came out of that high school, too. Like, I remember a guy like Miro Ferrero being the same weight training class with him. He would be power cleaning 265 at a younger build. He's currently the assistant captain with San Jose Sharks, so it's nice to have some memories shared with him. Got a lot of guys like Michael Bazo. He went to McMaster. He was a star receiver there. And that revolved around my whole summer career, where I was able to play with guys like Nolan Lovegrove, which is an alumni here from U of T, same with Cameron End. Great guys, and a lot of guys even ended up going to the CFL as well, right? You got Fraser Sopik, guys like Nick Short. I remember growing up looking at him. He was a monster, played at McMaster, and then he ended up playing pro. So it's just a lot well-rounded, good athletic school, and it built my entire character.
Oh, for sure, and a lot of players will say that it all started at the high school level.
That's right.
Which led to you going to Mount Allison.
That's right.
Which is a very good school, very competitive school too.
I've always said if it wasn't for football, I would have never pursued that higher level of education. I got out of there with an economics degree. Thank God for football. Because I was ready to go to trade school and all of those things, but football found that passion, and I got lucky enough to get recruited out to the East Coast, where I played for 3 years, and I got to live there in New Brunswick for 4 years. And small town vibe. Everybody would watch the game. Restaurants would close down. The players were the star players, and it was just a great environment.
Oh, fantastic. I'm from St. John, New Brunswick myself.
That's wonderful.
Family goes back to 1703 chronicled in St. John, the oldest incorporated city in Canada. And fantastic to see that the fans down there, they're very loyal.
That's right.
And they certainly support Mount Allison as well as UNB, especially with their hockey teams.
That's right. No, the environment is something else. Like when you see a town really ramp up for that game, where they're starting to close it up, they're putting posters up, they're lining up to get in front to see all the action. It's just fantastic. A great environment.
Wow. And did it hit you like a Mack truck the first day that you got there and you see this kind of stuff?
Absolutely. So I was coached by Scott Brady. Scott Brady's now a part of McMaster, one of Vanier. But at the time, it was a younger Brady, I'd like to call it, where he was very Bill Belichick, where it was do your job. And all the, instilling all of the things that we preach even at Caldwell Securities, which is work with the team, be very disciplined. But, yeah, like I remember even just being late to class. Now, if you arrive to class 5 minutes early, you're late, right? You got to get there 15 minutes early. And I remember doing bear crawls down and up the field. And that was my introduction to Mount Allison football. So.
Bear crawls. How many did you have to do of those?
You have to go there and back, and I remember it was a hot summer day. You look down in your hand's wide open, ripped up. Like
wow. Wow.
But that's just the kind of environment that they were trying to build, right? And Scott Brady, he's a great guy, great coach. He definitely, it was one of those things where you got to tear down the character in order to rebuild. Yeah. And I learned so much. Discipline, hard work, all those things. So shout out to Scott Brady.
You also played OVFL football, too.
That's right.
With the Newmarket Bucks and York Lions over the course of 5 years?
Yep, 5 years. And like I said, that's where I got to meet guys like Fraser Sopik and a whole bunch of different alumni all around. I did pretty well. I had a head coach, Zach Colangelo, which is now the defensive back coach for Mount Allison University. He might even be the defensive coordinator. I was able to build a lot of relationships, work on that craft of just being a better linebacker and getting ready for the next level. So it was fantastic.
And you talk about Nick Shortle and Nolan Lovegrove, and those guys were seen here as star players with the Varsity Blues. And looking at Nolan Lovegrove, I think he went on to play with Team Ontario or Team Canada.
That's right.
Yeah.
He did play Team Canada. I was also part of the Ontario prospect, I think, with him.
Yep.
And that was held by Rick Wood once again. He's there with us at Caldwell Securities, so shout out to Rick Wood. It was just a great experience. A lot of different stadiums we got to be a part of. We played at Hamilton Ticats for that game. I remember I came off the edge on a blitz that Rick Wood sent me and forced that pick six to one of my teammates that actually ended up going to Mount Allison University. So it was really cool because we weren't there yet, but that was one of the memories we had. So then when we made it to camp the following year, we talked about it. So it was amazing. It was fantastic memories.
That's a memory you will never forget.
No, it's funny. It just clicked in my head so quick, right? Like I'll never forget that.
That is awesome. And Rick Wood was pretty much the designer of all this.
That's right. That's right.
What are your thoughts on Rick as a coach?
So at first, I thought Rick was very I'm laughing just because he's probably listening. I thought he was hard, but he was somebody that he would reward positive reinforcement. So anybody that makes a mistake or thrives to become better, he puts the time in, right? Like Rick was also my neighbor, so he would be driving to and from practice. So I got a lot of off field memories with him in the car, and just he helped me prepare for the game in a level that I never thought was possible. And so I got to thank him because, like I said, I wouldn't have ended up in Mount Allison without him. So I thank you, Rick.
Rick is one of those guys that, he's been the epicenter of football and economics.
That's right.
Unbelievable. Right. Outstanding.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic career in the investment industry. So he's been numerous different places, been able to rebuild a whole bunch of different teams. That whole embodiment of, like, rebuilding a team, just on the field and off the field, the transition to his professional life as well as coaching. So
when I spoke with Rook, he told me about his days with York Memorial, and York Memorial is now back as a high school team in the Toronto District High School Circuit.
That's right.
Yeah. Congratulations to Rick on being able to help propel that.
Yeah, he's been a huge positive reinforcement to the entire football scene. Absolutely.
Now, you also have coaching experience.
That's right. So
what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I am currently the head coach for the Vaughan Rebels U16 fall team. We just completed a season for the summer where I was the defensive corner linebacker coach. I just love to give back, right? You spend all these years, you're developing as a player, you get out of school, you get an education. What's the best way to shape the next generation? Why not give back and just start coaching, right? And,
exactly.
And you see these kids now where they're looking to go next level. They need that coach to step up to try to get them there, and it's a beautiful sight. You see these development. They're a lot different from training camp all the way up to a playoff game, right? So that transition's beautiful.
That seems to be the mantra of a lot of players. They want to stay in the game, and they come back to coach. And a lot of them excel at that the coaching level, and they realize they're coaching a U16 team or a high school team. They want to take it to university, but potentially even pro.
Absolutely. And a lot of guys from Mount Allison did the exact same thing. I got a guy, Nate Vikla. He's the linebacker coach for the Warriors. Everybody's just trying to give back in all they can, because that impact that you can have on these players, it'll be life-changing. Just as it was for me, just probably for yourself, even Rick. You gotta give back in order to really feel that life go full circle, right?
Oh, for sure. You've had this no education, no football, and you told me in the email that you'd like to emphasize that.
Yeah, absolutely. I even today, when I go coach on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Vaughan Rebels, I tell these guys, even if the end goal is you don't end up being pro, you walk away with an education, and that is life-changing. That is the most important thing in my eyes. The fact that I was able to go to Mount Allison, even be a part of the team for 3 years, but ended out with that economics degree, now gave me the opportunity where I work in the financial industry, part of Caldwell Securities, where I get to help clients almost every single day achieve their goals. So I can't stress enough the importance of finding that
I know what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. It almost comes to like a brand.
Yes.
And with that brand, it's a team brand. You notice that, from your training and experience playing high school and university football and now coaching to being at Caldwell Securities. That's a team brand right there.
Yep.
Excelling to the next level.
Yep. And one thing I've noticed, especially as, I'm getting more involved in coaching, is there's really no such thing as do it yourself, right? You talk about investing, you talk about all these things, or being a professional athlete. The highest level of an athlete, you can't do it yourself. You have a team, you have a coach, you have a mentor, right? And it's the same thing with investing. The professionals, the people that are really doing well, they work with somebody else, right? So yeah. I just wanted to highlight that as well.
Yep. Oh, for sure. A couple of business stories that have come up as well. You may want to comment on these. 7-Eleven is now closing 400 locations.
Yep.
Wow.
7-Eleven is a company that we definitely follow thoroughly. All these changes are something that obviously in the short term could have some effect, but we really just look at long-term changes, right? Long-term trends, how to keep invested for the long run. But you're totally right. That is a big one. And
7-Eleven being Japanese-owned.
Yep.
So do you think it's because of competition? Because Circle K, you see the brand more and more every day, and it's expanding quite rapidly.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it right on there. It's definitely competitive-driven, and it's a good area to be in. Obviously, you want to be in a diversified portfolio, all things said. But, yeah, we do follow that closely, absolutely.
Wow. Another business story as well. This is something more toward the university students because it's Spotify. And Spotify plans to raise the prices on their streaming packages in Canada.
See, I didn't know that. So I know that they have a student plan. If you're a part of it, you get some type of discount. So you're saying now that is increasing?
It is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, students aren't going to like this.
So is that a pivot now where you go to Apple Music, I wonder?
That could be the option.
Right.
And I think students are going to figure that out very quickly.
Absolutely.
What are the options? Because they've been able to navigate all the obstacles so far, including a lot of student debt.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? It's such a prevalent thing nowadays where, you go on the GO train or you go on the subway or you finish a workout, you want to put a podcast, you want to listen to music. So, I think students, because they're budgeting, they're just going to have to pivot somewhere that's just more cost effective, right?
Oh, yeah. Now you're a big Toronto Argonaut football fan, aren't you?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Playing tonight against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Winnipeg.
It's a must-win or tie in order to clinch that playoff spot. Like I said, guys like, I believe it's Mechie. I know John Mechie's brother, Royce Mechie, is a part of the Argonauts, as well as Fraser Sopic. I've already mentioned that. What I like to call tonight's matchup, actually, it's the Battle of the Kellys. And what I mean by that is Chad Kelly, obviously the quarterback, but Jake Kelly doing his debut at free safety for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I actually got a chance to see Jake Kelly last season when I was coaching. He came out and he actually hung around with the DBs. Got to shake his hand, got to meet him, and he's a great kid. I know he's I don't want to say undersized, but somebody that is a little bit smaller in that sense. But he can hit, man, and he's a DB that does everything. So it'll be interesting to see his debut. I'm excited for that.
What kind of size are we talking about as a free safety?
I think 205, 210 pounds.
Okay. What's his height?
He's 6'2", 6'3". He looked 6'4", but I think he's 6'2" on the roster. So
he plays like 6'4".
He plays like 6'4". That's right.
You gotta love it.
But I know Fraser Sopic is injured. He's been having a hell of a season. He has over 50 tackles or something like that, which is almost double than his last year's performance. And I know the Argonauts just picked him up on free agency, so it's a shame he won't be a part of that game. I know he wants to be, but what can you do, One of the players
playing with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, former Toronto Argonaut Chris Kolinkowski, who played at Newmarket with Huron Heights.
That's right.
Are you aware of him? He's from the York region.
I was aware of him, but I don't remember having a personal interaction with him. But that is cool, and I wish him the best. If I could, and I'm looking out here on this beautiful field, if there was a way for me to strap back up, I would love that opportunity. I think about it every day. So I just wish all these kids the best, and even tonight the Argos. I hope they have a good shot. So
that all starts with the gym. What are you benching?
What was I benching, or what do I currently bench? Because those are two completely different answers.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to. What were you benching, and what would you like to do again?
Yeah, I got up there to like 285, and I was able to hit that for a little bit of reps. I think now I could do 225 for 6 or 7, so I definitely declined there. But
that's still the NFL minimum, because you're doing 4 sets at 10. At 225, that's the NFL minimum. So you're still at a high level.
Yeah, well, they say it's muscle memory, right? Even if I do take some time off with anything, right? Even when I study or any of those things, it all clicks back because you've just done so many reps of it, right? So
wow. And how about this game tonight? Toronto Varsity Blues and Western Mustangs, and it's a traditional game spanning practically a century.
Absolutely. You know what? It's going to be a tough one. Keon Edwards, that offense, they're very dynamic. It's hard to stop, but I'm a defensive guy. So if you can limit them to one dynamic, whether you stop the run or you encourage them to run more, then you have a chance. And what I say, and all those times when I'm looking back and facing against Huron, is you got to come out strong, and you got to just do one thing and make sure you do it right, and that can change the game.
And it all starts with defense, because this Western Mustangs offense is quite potent, among the best in the country. Western comes in ranked number 4 in U Sports right now.
That's right, and we're all about our metrics. Like when I look being an advisor, you have to look at your numbers, know exactly what you're doing in terms of book meetings or helping clients. It's a similar thing on the football field, and what I mean by that is on special teams, we need at least 1 turnover. I know when I was back at Mount Allison with Scott Brady, he would always say, if you get 1 turnover more than the other team, you have a shot. And the same thing is with penalties. If you play a cleaner game, you'll have an opportunity there to get some points and put yourself back in the game.
Who do you follow more, the Varsity Blues or Western Mustangs, or do you just follow the league, or is there any one particular team that you follow in the OUA?
I've always been more about the players, and even in the NFL or CFL, I like following the players. But in terms of this matchup tonight, it would be an overall league coverage that I just like seeing football. So no matter where it's on, I'll tune in.
Funny you mentioned NFL. We're going into a pretty wild weekend, and we see the Chicago Bears playing over in London this upcoming weekend. I believe Seattle?
Yep, I believe. Oh no, Seattle just played.
No, Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot more international games. You saw Brazil. You saw other. They're increasing their audience, and they're trying to engage some of those European television and different people to tune in. I love the NFL though. There's a whole bunch of different teams that are just coming up out of nowhere, like Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels. That kid's a stud, and a whole bunch of teams that I wouldn't think would be doing as well are doing well. You look at Minnesota Vikings. You got a team that I thought would be a lot less powerful with Kirk Cousins moving over to Atlanta Falcons, but that's not the case. They're definitely off to a hot start. So.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons have re-identified themselves with Cousins coming in as the starting quarterback. They've really done well. No one gives them any chance prior to the season starting.
That's right, and I think it all started with that quarterback change. You get a guy like that, a veteran, Kirk Cousins, that can be a general on the field, work with all of his star players. You got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson, and one of the things I'm noticing, he's getting the ball out quick, and that was the thing that I think was lacking from the previous season. They're doing a lot of play action, and the play action wasn't working because they expected it. They were run heavy, and when they pulled that ball out, the blitzes off the edge would still grab him. But now on this powerful Falcons offense, he's doing a little bit more. And I think it's paying good dividends.
How about those Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah.
Wow. Who'd expect that they'd come explosively out of the blocks like they have?
You know what? I'm a big fantasy football guy, and I thought Justin Jefferson was out for the count. Not skill-wise, but quarterback-wise, but that wasn't the case. They're high-powered, and it's fun to watch, honestly. Andy Dalton, and it's fun to watch.
Wow. And then you look at Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, if any team is going to win a Super Bowl, it's going to have to go through the Chiefs.
Yep. Now the Chiefs are battling a lot of injuries. You got Rashee Rice that fell apart with his knee, and Pacheco as well. So I don't know. But it doesn't seem like it's slowing them down whatsoever. Patrick Mahomes is great with the rock, and he just keeps slinging it.
We have a lot of fans that are in the Southern Ontario region, including many around the Buffalo, New York area. What do you have to say about the Buffalo Bills right now?
Oh, I've always liked the Bills. The Bills, Josh Allen, he's not only a great quarterback, but he can run. And the only thing that I'm concerned is when they play good teams, like I don't know if you saw that game of Baltimore Ravens with Derrick Henry and all that, it was really tough to stop. That's my only concern. As the weather gets a little bit chillier and they're playing that smash mouth football in the playoffs, it's hard to stop. So that's my only concern, but the offense looks good.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills have that dual threat with Josh Allen, both in the pass as well as on the run. And then Von Miller, who was out this past weekend. I'm not sure how long that suspension is going to be. Is that just one game, or is it going to be several games? Or
I think it's going to be several games.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. The other issue too with the Bills is, or not the issue, a positive note. I just read 30 minutes prior to coming here that Davante Adams might be going there. So actually, Davante Adams just followed Josh Allen on Instagram, and so it'd be nice to see if that's a transition period. That'll be good for the Bills.
And then you look at the New York Jets, and here's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, what a story there. And he said, look, I've made 3 mistakes in this game, including 2 interceptions. Not normal for him.
Yeah, but you got to give a credit to him. You know, he's a veteran player. He went through that nasty injury last year, still decided to come back like he had something to prove. And I think there's still more gas in the tank for him. They just got to click. They got to find something. So it'll be exciting to watch how they perform the rest of the season.
Do you think there's a parallel between Broadway Joe Namath and Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, absolutely.
Is there any parallels there?
Absolutely, I think so. Similar, absolutely.
Because Rodgers is a lot of glitz.
Yeah. No, and he's known for his play action game, right? Like He's really good where he keeps that ball in the right hand, and you think it's gone with the running back, and he just slings it the other way. So he's a great guy. I love him on and off the field, so it'll be exciting to keep watching him.
All right, Brandon, really appreciate you coming on the show. And Brandon Assuncao of Caldwell Securities Ltd. and football star. Very great to have you on the pregame show to Western Mustangs and Toronto Varsity Blues.
Thank you so much, Dana. And this is going to be a fun game. I hope the U of T can do really well against Western, and let's see how it goes.
We're going to take a break in the action and come back with the opening kickoff. This is Western Mustangs, Toronto Varsity Blues Football, here on CIUT Radio 89.5 FM. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in 5 minutes.
Caldwell Securities Ltd. is regulated by the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. To learn how to invest or to choose the proper investment advisor for you at Caldwell Securities Ltd., please call 416-862-7755.
Proudly student and listener-supported community radio. CIUT 89.5 FM, the sound of your city.